I'm so free behind these. I know that this ain't what you wanted. I'm so free behind these. I know that this ain't what you wanted. I'm so free behind these. I know that this ain't what you wanted. I'm so free behind these. I know that this ain't what you wanted.
Kind of comes down under professionalism.
Mm-hmm. Awesome.
Oh, oops.
Is this a segment where cameras are on? All right. All right. Hello, everybody. Sorry for the lighting. It's really bright in my room. But welcome to our game, AVG, right? Hello, everybody. Today we have, I think, if I get this correct, tonight we have
UPS and
UPS
DBZ.
and the BabieZ. DBZ. Yeah. Awesome. What a game. Right now, I would like to say thank you everybody that is here early. The game will be on its way soon. First we'll set up with draft, but so far this is the first game of week 3, if I'm correct. So thank you guys for being here.
Yeah, we're just doing a little bit of stuff, trying to figure out the sides and subs, I believe.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I do want to say that this is going to be a really hype match. one I personally have been really looking forward to. Probably a really, really crazy amount of players and talents in this specific game. I would like to, number one, point out what is described as the #1 jungler in the league, aka the evil mailbox. I think he's definitely going to be a big player and having a big role in this game, as well as Demon Angel, right? Diamond 4 ADC, absolutely insane player. In my opinion, I'd put him as one of the top ADCs, probably even #1, right? This guy is insane. I've played Hearthstone with him. He's just a nice guy in general, right? Big impact this game. I would love to see how they're able to play this.
Yeah, we're actually going to go to a quick pause. There were some issues with the draft. One of the teams is actually using an emergency sub, so
Alright.
we got to redo that. But yeah, we'll be back in a bit.
Awesome. Welcome. Requiem, thank you for being here.
Yeah, no problem.
Always an honor. Awesome. Can I get a link to it? Awesome.
Yeah, these are two players. They can hear us, right? Just making sure. Yeah, these are two players that I played a lot with Demon Angel last season. I would say a lot, 2 games, but I would say that we're good buddies. Last week's game was not how I wanted it to end up being. I wanted it to be like a full-on match. Me and BabieZ Carry wanted it to be because it was like a rival match. And then Mailbox is a veteran from last season, so I don't. Obviously, they can't hear me, but I'm hoping to see Mailbox on the Kane.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I doubt that it'll be let through draft-wise. It very much could be, right? Kane in the meta is not the strongest. Mostly you'll only see a blue Kane, never a Rost in these games, but like definitely Mailbox, it's such a big comfort. His most played champion. Who knows if we'll see it in this draft. Maybe Choose Life has a pick into it. But like, yeah, Demon Angel going against, I think, 0 kills, if I'm correct here.
I think 0 kills on Royal Vagabonds.
But I think that's
It's
their
complex.
emergency.
I think. No, I'm wrong. Oh yeah, I think you're right. Actually, no, it's Biostir. It's Biostir. He's the emergency, right?
I guess I have no clue what's going on. But like I want to touch on Zuko. What are your thoughts on him? He seemed to be rated really, really high on the top lane tier list so far of everybody's minds, right? He had an insane game last match. Like he was single-handedly able to carry those games. I casted that game and it was just bonkers. That's how I'd describe it. His performance on the Silas, right? Was single-handedly able to carry games. Oh, all right. Well, and as I was saying, you know, that Kane ban immediately banned out by the BabieZ, as Rammus and Yasuo are banned.
Yeah, I expect to see that Kane ban in the future, especially a lot more with Ross getting buffed. I mean, he's just gonna have a lot more utility with it. I doubt he ever plays it this season unless a team goofs up, which frankly it'll be my team, knowing us.
Mm-hmm.
But that Rammus ban's actually really interesting with the new ultimate.
Mm-hmm. I think it's very interesting that Mailbox would go ahead and ban it, though. Maybe he doesn't have a pick into it, in my opinion, but I just wouldn't see a real reason to ban it, especially as this seems to be a no lock-in.
The Jinx ban's really interesting. I've always been kind of against it whenever my team would ban it personally. I usually just go ahead and go with it because it's it's a strong champion, not really much else to ban when it comes to the AD carry department unless it's like a main. But usually I think that champion, although very strong, is really situational. You have to kind of build a team comp around her.
Yeah, definitely. Especially like Tristana and Jinx are really high. Like they're really good ADCs at the moment. Another one to be point out is Senna that has not been banned out. I'm interested to see if either team will put priority on picking that Senna before the second ban phase. But UPS using their blue side first pick will pick up something that they have put priority on, which is the Morgana jungle. In my opinion, this is the most insane pick ever. You just gave Mailbox the best jungler right now at the moment, period, right? There's not a single champion that has a higher than 50% win rate into this Morgana jungle pick, as well as she outclears every single jungler. She scales insanely hard. I imagine we're going to see something like a Xin Zhao, a Fiddlesticks, or a Shaco because, in my opinions, or Diana. Sorry, Diana's another one, but in my opinion, like, you're so limited into this Morgana. Your traditional Hecarim Udyr Volibear is just not going to work. So I'm interested to see what they pick here. And that will be the Volibear. It could be flex top lane, but again, letting Morgana go through this draft is a heartbreaker, especially
Yeah,
one of the
I
best
agree.
junglers.
I know the Volibear pick, after we see this pick real quick, I just want to kind of touch upon that top lane matchup. It's Zuko, who played very well last game with the Silas against a Plat 1 top laner who was flexed from jungle to top. I think they swapped him to top lane. BabieZ actually has a new top laner this game. So it'll be really interesting to see what they play. I think they're Plat 4 or Plat 3.
I think it's Hypernovas, right?
No, did they sub him in?
I can't tell. I don't think they're in order.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, so Hypes Nova is actually one of the subs for my team. They're just using him as an emergency sub this game. So he is a lower ranked player. He recently hit Silver 4. So it's good that they're seeing him put him on a tank. So I actually don't really like that Ornn pick, especially since it really removes the mystery of the Volibear flex. Like they could have saved the Ornn pick for last, and Mailbox really doesn't know whether to ban jungle or top lane.
Oh my. This is brutal, right? We got the Volibear Ornn locked in. These two big bruisers. Like you said, giving away where the Volibear is going. That will be the Volibear jungle, which in my opinion is not going to be able to touch this Morgana. The only thing he can do is really out-tempo. But then the pick of the Vayne, and then the counter pick of Kayle here, right? Vayne really good into these bruisers, giving that max % health true damage. And Kayle probably just going to turn this Ornn laning phase into a scaling matchup, which, you know, Kayle's going to be insane. But the Corki, they're matching scaling with scaling. Oh my goodness. The Corki picked up. This is most likely going to be the mid lane. I myself love Corki ADC, but this is probably the standard Corki mid lane. Picked here for...
Blade on an AP pick is very interesting. That's all I'm going to say.
Blade is... I don't think there's a single spinning thing on Corki. His propellers do spin, so he is still into the spin to win champions.
True, actually. You're right.
But Rel locked out, taking away from Rentato. I think that's really important. I doubt that's going to be a Morgana support, right? Especially when you're allowed to have this Morgana jungle. There's no reason to
He could... I mean, Morgana could be triple flexed, so it will be really interesting.
Do you want to, though? You already got a
I don't think so. I think it'll be jungle.
Yeah. As, you know, Galio is hovered here and banned away from UPS.
I mean, so far, DBZ just needs to be banning a tank here.
Yeah.
No, a frontliner, no doubt, in my opinion.
So this is questionable, right? Because the
Mhm.
Galio getting banned away from Blade kind of means that UPS is kind of like either they don't want that to be a Galio support, right?
Mhm.
Or they think that Corki is not mid lane, right? I doubt they'd be banning that Galio to force the Corki to mid lane, but it just seems like a strange ban here. I think it would be really good into their team. Maybe not into Vayne Kale, but still. As their second ban on red side is going... sorry, fifth ban on red side is going to be... Malzahar.
Malzahar. The pick's not terrible. I think Tay does play Malzahar, and Malzahar's a good backline threat, and they do need a little more AP. Kale does go hybrid, but not really reliable. It's not the worst ban, but it's not anywhere close to the best ban. And
Yeah,
Zillion.
Zillion was taken away from Steel Fist here. Probably, maybe, I doubt that would be a ban towards both mid and bot, but, I mean, sorry.
Oh,
mid and support.
no floor towards Blade. I did play a scrim against him, and the dude absolutely clapped me. But I'm just gonna tell you right now, I don't think he's gonna be playing Zillion mid.
Yeah.
I definitely think that's a really good ban to take away from Steel Fist, though.
Kaisa. Okay, so this is the Corki mid lane. I would have loved to see an ADC, but that's just a me thing. But again, another good ADC champion, especially into the Vayne, right? I actually am not an ADC player, so I don't know the specific Vayne versus Kaisa, like who is stronger in what situations, but it's all about the support here, right?
I
So
think
I
it really
think that
depends on the level. I know my AD carry always tells me that Kaisa's power, like level 1 to 3, I think you trumps most AD carries. Maybe not like
Mhm,
Draven or something, but like
mhm.
I think Kaisa wins the matchup really early on, and then as it gets to later game, I think it really just depends on Vayne's like positioning. I've always heard that Kaisa usually generally right now is just kind of a better version of Vayne, but
Mhm.
I don't know.
Yeah, as well as like it's all about the support, right? Bot lane is
Hmm.
all about the support, and if the support can be proactive and be a big, win the 2v2. And here comes Runtato's Nautilus, right?
Hmm.
Runtato got his rel taken away, and usually we'd see the Leona, but the Nautilus coming out, right? This is definitely probably a pick he can play, right? As well as Vel'Koz getting blind picked here. Oh, not blind picked, sorry. Counter picking the Corki, which I think is interesting. I don't know how I feel about it, but
UPS's draft is really weird. I'm gonna be honest. It looks like a complete solo queue draft to me,
yeah.
because Kale and Vayne are they're frontline champions, right? Like they have to get up in the front line,
Hmm.
play with the tanks. Nautilus gets pretty tanky.
Hmm.
Generally, though, don't know if Nautilus is really going to be a lot or enough, because you look over at DBZ and they do actually have a decent amount of magic damage on that team. Kaisa
Hmm.
is a hybrid, Corki, and then Volibear and Ornn all do magic damage. So the Morgana shield might do a lot there.
Here's the Braum locked in, last pick as counter towards this Nautilus. So Kaisa Braum versus Vayne Nautilus. I think Kaisa Braum is favored, especially early. As well as, like you were saying, the Vayne and the Kale, right? They have to be dealing with these tanks. I do think they will shred these tanks eventually at some point, but it all is a matter of scaling and um, if they can get ahead, correct? So the biggest thing I would like to see is some early game to ensure that the Vayne and the Kale can carry late game. Same with the Vel'Koz. Early game, all we got is the Nautilus, right?
Hmm.
And Morgana, right? Morgana can be really good early game, but most of the time you'll just see her power farming, clearing her jungle, going for a gank, right? And then getting objectives, right? That's what she can do. So it's all about how this Volibear is able to tempo in this matchup. As we are taken into the actual champion select.
So I just as we're looking at kind of the draft, um, from the stream perspective, um, I although UPS has a lot of late scaling champions in the Morgana, the Vayne, the Kale, the Vel'Koz,
Mhm.
Nautilus doesn't really scale that well. Late game he kind of just gets blown up. Like,
Yeah.
I actually think that even though Volibear, and Volibear is usually like known as a really early champion that falls off,
Yeah.
I actually think that DBZ's comp is, I personally think it scales better and it's better
Mhm.
early game. I think DBZ still wins it. If I mean,
Mhm.
in a vacuum, I think DBZ wins this.
Yeah. So I do want to point something out, right? This jungle Morgana having that spell shield, putting it on the Vayne or the Kale, as well as the Kale having her own ways of taking away damage with her ultimate, right? And granting that 3-second invulnerability can be really, really crucial in these team fights. Getting the Vayne to, do damage and not have to worry about getting insta-popped. The thing I wanted to point out, right? The Morgana spell shield, it only blocks CC for the shielding amount, which why this is important this specific game is because there are so many sources of AP, right? So usually Morgana would be really good into Volibear, Ornn, and all these champions, right? Because they're high CC. But if the shield gets popped, right? For example, if Corki hits 1R on a Morgana shield, right? So if Ornn tries to ult in, the Morgana shield comes down, Volibear's going in, right? If they just burst that shield with their magic damage, then that champion isn't specifically safe. And the thing is, usually Morgana, Kale, and Nautilus, Vel'Koz, right? They can really, punish bad positioning as well as engages because of the fact that they have those tools. However, right, you don't have the best peel because you have so many carry champions, the Morgana, the Vayne, the Kale, and the Vel'Koz, right? The only real frontline you have is this Nautilus, and he can't peel for everybody. Morgana's going to have to shield whoever they think is the prize target. Same with Kale. And Vel'Koz, right, he's just going to have to be backline. So if they get multiple backline threats dived here, then team fights can fall apart, right? However, on the contrary, they have so many threats that no matter who you focus down, if your front line isn't able to tank this damage, there's so much true damage that can just melt through, as well as Corki and Kai'Sa, if their front line is engaging, really won't have that that peel themselves, right? So it's all about how these fights are able to go through. And early game, I would have to give this to DBZ, right? They do have good scaling with Corki, Ornn, Kai'Sa, right? But late game, like late game, UPS just looks so favored. So it's got to be about these early games, right? Early game tempo, mid skirmishes, as well as just jungle, right? I want to see Mailbox get himself some early kills and just punish, right? So I think jungle tempo is important.
I do agree with you. But I also think that if Mailbox playing the Morgana doesn't get like, if he himself doesn't get ahead early, I think he will still be very useful late game. Maybe on his team. I think I do agree with you. What you were saying that although their team comp may not be the best, and if they get dove, they might get like completely like dumpstered as a team. But I think that, like you said, there are too many threats on that team. I think that if they all, like, if they're evenly matched and they all dive, let's say the Vayne, and Vayne lives for even 1 second too long, I think DBZ just loses the fight.
I do want to point out something that has been in the back of my mind here, right? And that is the Corki, right? Corki and Kai'Sa are the only range options on this team, right? Sure, Ornn ultimate is range, and you have Bramble and Q, but really, like, both teams have some amount of poke, but I think that the Corki package is going to be what makes or breaks these team fights, because a 3-item Corki can absolutely burst squishies if he hits them straight on. So you're going to either have to flash it, Kale ultimate it, or just force his package out early, or just burst him immediately, because I've seen Corki packages absolutely 1v9 melt through these champions that are so squishy, as well as it can simply just be used with their teammates like the Volibear engage, the Ornn ultimate, the Braum ultimate. And even Kai'Sa can jump in on the backline with Corki, because if he CCs somebody while he's mowing down his package, Kai'Sa's going in with her ultimate, zooming in the backline, and their team can just caught out targets or split fights and take good fights because of the amount of positioning, like repositioning that they're able to do. And if you're not suspecting that, if you don't have the right vision, then I actually really like the BabieZ comp here, and to specifically UPS's comp. I like both comps. I don't know who I have favored. I would have to give to BabieZ a bunch of points because at least they have these early game and they have tools late game to maybe outplay UPS's comp here.
Yeah, I do agree with you on that one. I do think that if Morgana goes ahead and gets the Leandri's Torment, or the Anguish, sorry, that they will just completely shred DBZ's frontline. Such as a lot of that true damage, like you mentioned before. The important thing though is that to notice is that DBZ's comp, every single champion has a way to engage onto that enemy team for UPS against UPS. Every single champion can engage, so it's not like they're all kind of sitting there with like their hands sitting on their hands, like begging their top laner, their jungler, or their support to engage. Like they all have a means to engage, so it's up to. I mean, they have a really flexible team comp. I just think it really comes down to whether DBZ can actually just survive until the late game. The Hype's Nova actually really interesting on that Ornn pick. Grass of the Undying is I think your typical pick for Ornn, but I'm not sure.
Not so much.
Yeah, I'm not sure if I like it into Kale though. I think Aftershock might have been a little bit better.
Definitely. There's also the idea of, you know, if I'm gonna take Aftershock, late game, it's not gonna matter because of how much true damage and burst they have. Is nice little scorch damage from Tay in the mid lane on the Beyblade. Nothing really much happening. We won't see any cheeky what's it called? Invades. I actually think Beyblade could have, you know, after getting hit by that Vel'Koz, maybe could have played a little aggressive, get one hit, maybe throw an ability out, right? Just because of that that tier, right? And he was probably gonna back anyway after getting that poke, so maybe he could have gotten some tier stacks. Who knows, right? But that's just something interesting. As
Another
do you see
thing,
anything unstandard this game?
yeah, one thing I wanted to notice is that Blade, when he played against us, BFC, my team, he actually did a really good job farming. I think he had the highest farm in the game up until the mid game, because I think that was the point, mid to late game, because that was the point when their team started to really fall behind, and I think my AD carry ended up getting the higher lead. But he actually, I think, had around 8 to 9 CS per minute. He actually was doing a really good job. So if he could pull that off as the Corki in this lane, I really think he can, even though he's a gold 4, gold 3, he can really carry this game, I think, on the Corki. It'll be really tough getting through lane, though, with that Arcane Comet on the Vel'Koz, because that really can be punishing, but he does have the sustain with the Fleet Footwork.
Yeah, definitely. As well as, I actually kind of favor the Corki in this matchup. Vel'Koz having to take the barrier instead of the TP in this matchup, just because, you know, you have the threat of getting 1v1 by Corki with good play, and even the Volibear flashing onto you, just having that defensive summoner spell in the mid lane so you don't get behind. As level 2 goes in, Runtato getting the dread line, but level 2 coming down from Rufus, they will with the stun, should not be anything, as Zero Kills does a great job blocking the passive of Kai'Sa there. So far, nothing really used in this bot lane. We see the cleanse coming out from Demon Angel this game, and the exhaust against the heal ignite from Runtato and Zero Kills.
Yeah, one thing I want to point out while we're kind of in like the calm before the storm here is, oh, and they proc that Guardian there. This bot lane matchup is actually really interesting because Demon Angel finally gets his support back, and Zero Kills, although he is a sub, was like, or I still think he is personally. I don't know. I think he's a really pretty good ADC. He is with a different support, but I think this bot lane matchup actually will be really interesting. Maybe top 2. And
yeah, as Runtato gets stunned up, Forshawn Kai'Sa is available, but this should not be much, as here comes the flash from Runtato onto Demon Angel. Here comes the binding. First blood will go onto Kai'Sa. There's the steal, but here comes Choose Life. Choose Life coming in. Zero Kills has to flash out, as Mailbox is trying his hardest, get this poke, get this Dark Harvest stack on Demon Angel, but this should be all she wrote. First blood going onto the ADC, supports falling, but in my opinion, this is huge, as Ornn does get a good knock up onto Kale. Procs the grass, this minion wave doing a lot of damage.
Yeah,
But,
that was actually a really good trade by Hypes Nova there, and Blade kind of getting chunked down in the mid lane. But one thing I wanted to point out is Demon Angel, and this is the kind of value you're going to get from a high-ranked ADC. Even though he is the captain, a high-ranked ADC like this knows
Here's
that
Volibear on the mid lane. Tay, great sidestep by Choose Life. He has both summoner spells. Corki Valkyrie's in. He does have the barrier, but he doesn't use it. He's just down, as Zuko does. That was interesting.
Both mid laners trade flash, but only one gets the kill there.
Yeah.
That's really good for Beyblade there, especially when he was chunked really low. Tay didn't even use the barrier at all. He's being a little greedy, thinking he could get out of there.
Yeah, and while bot lane takes a nice reset here, I want to point out, right, jungle pathing. In my opinion, Mailbox could have gone for a better pathing, right? Maybe he really wanted to be bot lane.
Oh, and
As
top lane
Gulef-
wave is pushing, and Volibear's coming in.
Good knock up. Here's the CC chain. Don't know if Zuko will fall. The flash is down. One flash is all
I think Orange Q
necessary.
can get it.
But she's like barely living. Wow. Ornn flash not really used. Some coordination could have been better. Be like, okay, who can get this, right? I'll flash. You don't have to worry about dying here or something like that. Or, oh, we don't need a flash, right? But going back to this, Mailbox is getting up here, probably looking for Krugs. But what I was trying to say is jungle pathing, Mailbox could have full cleared and gotten a scuttle. But because of how things were, as Mailbox is here, will the binding hit? It will! As Mailbox gets a nice kill off of Zuko. It's TP. Ornn does have TP to come back into lane, so he doesn't miss much. Morgana is still helping Mikhail shove in. But, like I was trying to say, because of how that bot lane gang worked out, Morgana got double scuttled by Volibear, which is actually pretty important. Even though Morgana is doing a really good job with counterplay top lane here. As Choose Life has ganked every single lane. It's kind of crazy, right?
Yeah, Choose Life.
Getting aggressive when Tato just simply backs off. Finish
Yeah, this matchup is kind of... It's hard for both AD carries because both supports are tanks here. So really it just comes down to whichever one makes a mistake first. There isn't really much pressure. Braum does have his Q that he can throw out every once in a while, so there is a little bit more pressure on the kite with the Kai'Sa and the Braum against the Vayne Nautilus because of the Kai'Sa projectiles and the Braum projectiles. And that's why you see Demon Angel with that actually pretty significant CS lead. Whenever you see that BabieZ has a 500 gold, 500 gold lead over UPS.
So I will say, talking about this bot lane matchup while the focus is on them, Braum is actually really good into melee supports here, as well as, like you said, Kai'Sa's favored early game into this Vayne, which is probably what amounted to this CS deficit in this bot lane. As Mailbox is looking for something here, bot lane does just ult in, will get this. Oh, flash, good flash by Demon Angel. As they're looking for the return, the binding will hit the condemn of Steel Fist as Volibear ults in, does find 0 kills. Mailbox will go down. Ignite used. Choose Life will probably fall, but this should be an easy pickup by Demon Angel onto goes to 0 kills. 0 kills using the heal there. Probably not necessary, as this is actually questionable. Will he?
W?
Braum will take the kill. I think they could have definitely secured that for the Kai'Sa. Unlucky, but still 2 kills picked up as, wow, that's annoying. But a big wave of an XP and gold share and some plates picked up by the spot lane. Overall win for the BabieZ fan club. Or sorry, just the BabieZ. And at this point in the matchup, for Ornn, there's no counterplay, right? Anytime you're looking for an ultimate, Kale can always just counteract. And then with this ranged matchup, Ornn is just getting beat under his tower. Actually pretty low. Does have to use the ultimate there, but there's just 2 auto attacks. Kale not even have to use the divine judgment there. That's just insane. Really well played by Zuko.
Yeah, one thing I wanted to mention in that bot lane fight that ended up with the I think it was a triple kill, not triple kill, 3 kills to 2, or to 1, sorry. Demon Angel, I think either his cleanse came up right then, or he was a really, really late cleanse there. I don't know if you caught that.
Mm-hmm.
One thing I want to point out here in the top lane, sorry about that, is actually the CS deficit is actually not that bad, because when you consider rank into the equation and the fact that Kale is a counter to Ornn.
Mm-hmm. Continue.
So when you see Morgana here, sorry, you see Morgana here on the red. That's it's actually a really good angle because you see Volibear is actually resetting on the Krugs here, and her bot lane has Prio, so they might just be able to straight up get the dragon here.
Mm-hmm.
But one thing
they
you gotta
don't
notice is that
100% know.
Corki has hit the package.
Mhm.
So with this dragon up here, if Corki burns down this wave and Volibear is going bot side, we could be seeing a dragon fight here.
Mhm.
Brewing very quickly. But only one thing you need to notice here is that Vel'Koz is, for whatever reason, putting a ward in the top jungle. That ward is going to expire before Volibear ever even gets up there, homie.
Mhm. So TPs on both teams are all down. So Corki with package, you kind of just have to give this dragon. There's no way you get it, which is a good thing because, right?
I mean, yeah, that team's UPS is already down in gold. They know that if they take a fight here with Corki package, it could really just mean the end of the game. They could lose Dragon and they could lose the game.
Mm-hmm. And having that Corki package always up for Dragon spawn can be really, really nice, as it didn't amount to anything. It was more just for the threat of the use, right?
Mm-hmm.
But already, Corki and Vel'Koz are just sitting pretty.
I mean,
I would actually give it to the Corki in this lane.
Did Corki end up using his package or did it expire?
He I think he used it to get back to lane.
I'm not really sure myself how long the package goes.
A minute.
It's a minute, so he probably didn't have it, but he might have been able to maybe look for an angle top lane to package up there and roam.
So I can tell you with Corki package, that minute is really short. It takes about like 20 seconds or less, 15 seconds. As good Valkyrie. That ward spotting the Morgana binding. But it takes about 15 seconds as the flash stun. Morgana not being there to get the timing, but the ult comes down. Beyblade gets disintegrated by the Ray. Morgana picking up the second kill. These purple champions just dominating in this mid 2v2. Really well played. A lot of burst.
Yeah, that's actually a really big thing that if you think about it. Really, a lot of times in pro play, they don't ever really try and mess with the mid lane as much because the mid laner usually has a pretty good knowledge about where the junglers are. So you don't often see in LCS, you don't often see a scuffle like that in the mid lane happen because of stuff like that. It could really go either way because you know both mid laners are going to are typically going to respect each other, as you see in this matchup. Both have pretty much identical score lines. One just has maybe 75 to 150 more gold than the other person. But as you saw there, I mean, they pretty much BabieZ just lost their gold lead there off that 2v2,
which is huge. Because watch this, Mailbox is picking up either a first tower or first kill, or sorry, another kill on Ornn. Good knockup. The spell shield wasn't there in time, but it doesn't matter. Good knockup onto Kale, but there's the Divine Judgment and the tower going down. They're gonna get a second charge. Nobody's here to stop it.
Kai'Sa should be going top lane right now.
Zuko and Mailbox, their 2v2 synergy, as well as with Tay, as we saw earlier, is just insane. And I do want to point out, right? Usually you want some diversification and your damage, right? Kale, Morgana, and Vel'Koz doing AP, right? But I mean, obviously, it just doesn't matter when Ornn is 0-3 and can't even buy magic resist for these champions.
Yeah, it's really tough top lane, but I think BabieZ kind of knew what they were signing up for when they were getting that matchup, because Zuko really likes playing those aggressive top laners. As you see, he got the Silas counter break into the Cho'Gath. Basically, he's telling people, you don't get to just pick tanks against me and ride the top lane. It's not going to be that easy versus me, buddy.
Yeah. And
Another thing I wanted to point out here is that I'm actually getting some info from behind the scenes that the reason why DBZ banned Jinx is they didn't want to see the Mastery 7 proc macro see it spam in this game.
that makes sense. Wow!
What?
Look at that! Demon
And
Angel.
Kale just gets one shot.
Yeah, that was really well played. Not even having to use Flash of the Killer Instinct, just knowing what their champions can do. As look, here's Morgana, but here's Volibear. We will. Morgana, Q does get stopped, and the spell shot goes down. Great Killer Instinct. There's the TP by Ornn, not really necessary. That's a 4v1 as Beyblade just falls. Solo killed by Tay there.
Yeah, I really
Very
don't like that
interesting
TP from
Ornn.
Ornn.
Yeah, Ornn TP.
You know Vayne's pushing that top lane. You might not be able to do much, but you being a living body up there stops her from walking under that tower and taking it.
I will point out Corki package is going to be up soon, same with Dragon, so they should be able to at least try for this. I would have liked them to still have that Ornn TP so that he could at least match whoever's top lane, as Vayne is just destroying the turret by herself.
Yeah,
No one-
I think
no one really
DBZ,
stopped her.
honestly, right now, as a captain, I think I kind of know what's going on here. I think they're kind of having a macro struggle here with their sub top laner. They're having trouble. I think they might be having a little bit of trouble communicating to him about what they want to do, because generally, people on your team aren't always gonna be able to play the game for you. Like sometimes it really comes down to the player knowing what they're doing, and I am not discrediting Hype Nova as a player. I wouldn't pick them up as a sub if I thought they were bad. I'm just saying that I think it's a little bit of miscommunication there.
Yeah, definitely. I also want to point out Corki having package and TP. I would have liked him splitting, because at this point Ornn is never showing up to this fight. So if they're really going to look to stop here, Renteto, the Dragon's already fallen.
Oh, and that's a
Renteto
really
really
good-
squishy. There's the Corki package. Does find a lot. Morgana in the middle of the fight should fall down, getting CC'd. But the Kale and the Vel'Koz, the disintegration rate takes 3, as Kale is just insane. It's a 4v5. You really wanted the Corki with the package in the top lane with the TP there, because it's just a bad numbers advantage, and you're just falling. This is going to be mid tower getting picked up, Dragon getting picked up, the Gold League getting even further as the
everyone's
E
down.
gets stopped. They're just getting shredded.
Yeah, like I said, I think this really comes down to, I think it's just a macro problem for top lane here. Top lane at the end of the day really doesn't always come down to whoever's better. It really, especially in these team fights here, your rank really doesn't matter as much as your knowledge about macro. Like, it's really tough here, especially when, like, I agree with 100% with what you're saying. Blade should have been top instead of Ornn there, but I really think they couldn't afford to have Ornn just bleed gold and just have Beast not getting any games, so they just thought, we have to throw him in a solo lane and get him some experience and some gold. Like, I think they'd rather just take the 4v5 at that point.
Well, there's also the idea of, hey, it's just a dragon, you know. Sure, we have Corki package, but if we really wanted to do that, then we would just give and let Ornn soak his experience. So I think that they went for, like, both evils, right? Instead of going for the lesser, which is just giving or taking the 5-on-5 and bleeding gold, they took both evils as, you know, they got nothing as well. The Killer Instinct, the W hitting, the flash from Demon Angel, that was just outplay. He's insane. This guy is immaculate.
I think Demon Angel right now is trying to send a message to Zero Kills. He says, hey, I'm going to play you again sometime, and it's not going to be pretty, buddy.
Pretty Betty, as wow, 6-1 and 3. Kaisa, so strong, as Blade is just getting destroyed in this bot lane here. It's really difficult when Kale is this ahead, already having the Rift Maker, the Nash's Tooth. Blade is dead. He doesn't have Valkyrie here. He has to flash, but Kale has Divine Judgment, so at no point are you actually going to be safe under tower. Wow. This is just... The solo laners are just getting outmatched in this game, outclassed. And they're just so fed. As, you know, we're coming into 20 minutes soon. As, you know, this Dragon's going to start. But at this point, do you even win 5-on-5?
I mean, it's really unlucky when you look at it from Choose Life's perspective. I mean, he probably could have done a little bit more. Like, he probably could have chose to gank mid lane a little bit more. But, I mean, he put so much time and effort into that bot lane. Like, I mean, he got Demon Angel fed. I mean, they still have a win condition, DBZ, and that was thanks to Choose Life. At the end of the day, I think it really comes down to
Yeah, they're looking for Kale here. I'm gonna have to stop you as the good Nautilus CC, but I mean, hey, Nautilus just gave his life. Good binding, but this is still a numbers advantage. The flash on, Zuko will not get hit, but here's the TP from Ornn. As Zuko's trying his best, doesn't even get the Divine Judgment down. The Forge God does not hit Mailbox.
like I said, a win condition here. Look at Demon Angel. I mean,
but on the contrary, here's the teleport that has to stop this, as this Rift Herald is getting so much value, already taking so much. And Zero Kills has just been the split push menace this game. He said, hey, I can't beat Demon Angel in these fights, so I'm just going to have to sit in a side lane, get towers, but he's gotten so many.
yeah, I don't blame him because honestly, there's nothing scarier in this game than a Vayne rage splitting. Okay.
Rage splitting, as there's the Killer Instinct. Probably, he's fine.
Steel Fist
Steel
way
Fist
caught out.
Out of position, good flash there. Does have to W to a teammate or cannon. No, that's not even going to be enough. The locket goes down. Tay, what a great knockup. There's the Corky package.
Great
Tay will
knockup
fall.
by Hypesnova.
Zero Kills going really low. The Divine Judgment will save as BabieZ falls down. Zuko doing so much damage. True Life going down. Doesn't even have enough tankiness to stop this Kale, who's going to get a triple kill. This should be the Penta. Give it to him, please. Quadra kill if it tosses Rentato his life. As a great hook. Dreadline will find the hook line and sinker. The Penta kill. Oh, on this Kale. 9-3 and 5. What a champion, dude. What a player.
Yeah, Zuko honestly has just been playing phenomenally these past few weeks. He's also a member from last season, and he's just honestly just too much for Demon Angel at this point.
All right. So I want to point this out. Ultimates are up. Champions are almost coming up. The Forge God will find Rentato. Rentato should fall, right? This is kind of a bit of an overstay. They do get a tower. Zuko should fall. This is a big shutdown if they can get it. Divine Judgment's not up. It's on the worst chaos. Oh my goodness. As Demon Angel's going in, he's absolutely bonk.
Killer Instinct's about to be up.
If he could find some way to get that passive. But here's Tay. Good mechanics by Demon Angel. Look at him. One auto is all it takes. The Killer Instinct should find Tay. Here comes Ghost of
Is it gonna be enough?
Not enough. They're gonna get Dragon off of this. What an overstay. Getting punished. They don't even care about the Dragon. They're going for the Baron, right? In my opinion, they could definitely send somebody to stop them from at least getting some counterplay off of this Dragon. But Morgana doesn't even care. She's coming up here. Maybe she's gonna look to stop.
I mean, they need to get this Baron. It's if they get this Baron, they'll be back in the game gold-wise.
Definitely. As well as, like, you know, there's no way to stop this. Again, right, they're just going to send the Morgana to the Drake. I think that they could have sent a member to stop them from getting counterplay, like I was saying. But hell, they'll take the Baron. They'll get out there with your life, right? This is insane. The kills on the team are the Kaisa and the Corky. The two most important champions this game on Team BabieZ. So if they can actually make this work, we have an insane game on our hands. What seemed like almost game from a position, statistical positional standpoint, right? As wow.
Yeah, I mean that first Nexus tower's gone. Like they only have one Nexus tower. If that other Nexus tower goes, Kale is just gonna end the game.
Definitely. And Kale is so fed here. Same with Tay. As long as his positioning is correct, his disintegration rates have been clean. But with this Baron buff, it's gonna be pretty hard to siege.
Yeah, I don't know why they're sieging here. It's really confusing. They should be doing a 1-3-1 comp in my opinion against this Baron, because they're not gonna out siege a Baron.
Though. They don't have the TPs. I think maybe they're just trying to stop the enemy team from what the Forge God will find a good target of Mailbox. Mailbox gets insta-bursted, but so does Beyblade. Choose life, having to ult out, but this is the Kaisa that died. Kaisa just died. I didn't even
That looks
see
like
Kaisa.
games to me. Demon Angel just got completely one-shot. I mean, he probably feels so frustrated right now. I can't imagine.
Yeah. With Cleanse and Flash Up, it feels bad, man. But wow. Steel Fist versus the world. The ace comes down. Zero Kills
I mean,
picking
the
up.
knockup looked great, but like, I don't know if that was the play there. They completely go for the knockup on Morgana there, ignoring Kale's positioning. The fact that Kale just gets a complete flank on them. I mean, they kind of just a great game for both sides, but it was just a sad ending.
Definitely sad. But
GG's
well
to
played.
UPS and DBZ.
Yeah. DBZ putting up a fight, but in the end, UPS taking the victory. What
you-
a game.
I mean, I'm honestly, I don't think anyone on DBZ really played like really that bad. Like obviously Ornn, you don't like to see an 06 and 5 Ornn in your game, like really at all. But I think late game, he really pulled it together and overperformed. Like he obviously it might not make up for his laning state, the fact that Kale has 2 times his gold, but I think his knockups and his R's really allowed for Demon Angel to get that killer instinct in and pop off.
Definitely. As well as like Mailbox played so well towards his top side of the map with the heralds. He was able to get so many objectives because at some point there was just a collapse, right? DBZ looked so strong with their gold lead, but then there was just collapse. And then there were so many plays, right? There was a lot of counterplay from DBZs, right? They didn't just fall over and die. So regardless, let's go to the captain of the winning team, UPS Mailbox. How are you feeling? I love the Morgana pick, right? It's free if you get that Morgana pick. So tell us, how did you feel this game?
I was a little bit shaky going into it because we had a 0 drowns for you instead of our boy drown.
Dang. Do you think it would have been very different, or do you think the game plan would have still been the same of playing towards this KL Tay?
I think the game plan would have probably still been the same. Demon Angel is kind of a spooky player.
Sorry about that. So Mailbox, I do think that you guys looked really, really insane. Maybe that last play, can you tell me about that, right? Where it almost looked like DBZ was back into the game after picking off so many kills, getting so many shutdowns, and picking up a Baron. What were you guys thinking in that play, and especially after that once they got Baron? What was like your guys' real focus to not let them get back into the game?
To be honest, we kind of realized they had... The reason why we did that play in the first place is because we realized that our comp scaled so bad, so hard that they didn't really have a shot anymore. And we were like, maybe we can end here, and I don't think there's too much of a risk to not try and end and get this game over with. So even though they got a bunch of kills and were able to secure Baron, we kind of realized it was still over.
I completely agree with you there. I think that's really good shot calling. A question I wanted to ask you is, how did this team comp here come together? Because my comment earlier at the very beginning of the draft, or at the end of the draft, I mean, is that it kind of looked like a solo queue draft, but at the end of the day, it completely, stomped a draft that looks like you'd find in the LCS.
I think their E-subbing top lane ended up having an emergency sub top lane, ended up having our top laner Zuko a lot more confident and ended up picking KL into him. And then we realized that bot lane could at least go even up against, we believed in 0 kills in Rutato and thought they could go even up against him. And then mid lane, I'm confident Tay is kind of smurfing.
Yeah. I want to talk about this real quick. We talked about it a little bit before, but Zuko, dude, getting the pentakill, the highlight play, right? Just such an insane performance. How, like, it feels like your guys' synergy as a team is just live or die by the jungle 2v2 top lane or jungle 2v2 mid lane. So, like, tell me, how do you guys expect to be playing into the future, because you guys seem to have insane 2v2s, as well as just such an insane top laner, sorry. Like, what are you guys how are you guys going to are you going to continue this style in the future?
Yeah, I was kind of weary at first of Mr. Zuko on a carry, but because he was really kind of broken on tanks, and I saw him interfield my solo queue games on not tanks, but he pulls through.
I know we were kind of short on time, but I wanted to ask one more thing, or I wanted to say one thing real quick. Hey, respect for putting your top laner on a carry. Y'all, hey, bot lane's useless. You know who's gonna carry your game. That top laner. Hey, respect.
Oh man, bot lane's useless. But honestly, we gotta wrap it up. Thank you, Mr. Mailbox, for joining us. Maybe a puzzle later. But it's always nice to hear your beautiful voice and see your beautiful team in action. What a game. Alright, thank
Hey,
you.
GG.
Thanks, guys. Good game to everyone.
Peace out. Alright, what a game. As we will be getting into our game number 2. But first we should wrap up game number 1 real quick. What a game, right? Both teams going at it. It seemed really close. It was like very back and forth early game at first, and as well as like there was a lot of counterplay through their bot lane, especially some very questionable TPs, but at least they were making plays on the bot side of the map, which I really got to commend them for. But in the end, it was not enough to beat Zuko, this crazy 1v9 champion, right? 1v9 player. So.
Yeah, I mean, I completely agree. I honestly, up until DBZ got wiped, I thought that they had this game in the bag. So it was pretty good. It was a good game.
It all comes down to execution, and Demon Angel was this close away, right?
To with that 1v9.
And that's all.
Hey, enemy, they can't hear us, right?